Set to go is the Collegiate Varsity Cal Cup. In lane number 1, Notre Dame, Purdue. In lane 2, San Diego State University. In lane number 3, UCLA A-Boat will be in lane number 4, Southern Cal in lane 5, and UC Davis, and they're off and running. This is race number 93, the men's Collegiate Varsity Petite Final. They appear to be away and without breakage, so the race is underway.
So it looks like all crews are coming into the 250, which should be just about the time where they're all lengthening down to their base rhythm.
UCLA in that fourth lane bore out a little bit, and that's going to affect their situation. Right now, it looks like there's battle for first place between lane number 2 and lane number 1. In lane 2 is Purdue, and they might have a very slight edge over Notre Dame in lane number 1. In the very early going for this, the Petite Final for this particular category. And Notre Dame looks like they may have righted the ship, so to speak, and are on the lead ever so slightly, but they're certainly being pursued every stroke of the way by Purdue.
So Purdue is in lane number 2, Notre Dame is in lane number 1. Those are your two early leaders who have a shot of crossing the line first. All crews have passed into the second 500. And as they're coming off their second 500, there may be some positioning differences because as the first 500 is executed, some crews elect to throw in a 10, maybe a 20, quick little 15, for a little more acceleration, maybe a little bit top quarter press, whatever they think to have in their race plan to start them off into the middle 1,000, because this middle 1,000, that's when they start to get to work, and that's when they start to maintain that rhythm, and they're really trying to maintain that boat speed so they don't slow down. Still looking like Purdue in lane 2, but in the outside lanes in Southern California and UC Davis, they're not off the pace. Maybe UCLA is a little bit back, but lanes 1 and 2, and coming up, San Diego State, they're making a charge. As crews are coming to the 1,000, we can start seeing a little bit better about what positioning is happening. And it is in fact lane 1, followed by 3, then 2. So it's Notre Dame, San Diego State, then Purdue in those top 3 positions.
Checking on the lane assignments at the 1,000-meter mark, our current leader, Notre Dame, ever so slightly in lane number 1. Purdue in lane 2, battling for that front spot. San Diego State University is in lane 3, UCLA in lane number 4. The Trojans of the University of Southern California rowing along in lane number 5, and UC Davis in lane number 6 as they pass through the 1,000 meters as the wind is beginning to pick up ever so slightly under the Ingraham Street Bridge, and the crews will begin to contend now with the west wind, which they have not had to put up with so far during this racing day.
When they cross that 1,000, those top 3 crews, there was definitely some leaders, some middle people, but what is most importantly about those positions, anything is possible in this third 500. Anything is possible in terms of changing the position, changing where the certain crews particularly are right now. It seems to be now 2 sets of races. Lanes 1 through 3 are leading the pack, but then lanes 4 through 5, 6, they're also jockeying to try to maybe eat into San Diego State, Notre Dame, then Purdue. Notre Dame in lane 1 is taking into the lead. Then San Diego State still in second, Purdue in third. But would love for any of these crews to just prove me wrong and start to take that lead. It is anybody's game into the last 500. It is their job to execute that last 500 and get what position they want.
Into the final 500, it is almost a bow marker to bow marker race with lanes 1, 2, and 3. Notre Dame apparently has a slight edge at this time, but Purdue is fighting back against San Diego State University. Neither one of them have lost touch with Notre Dame. Then out to the outside, it is UC Davis launching themselves into that fourth spot, followed by USC and UCLA. Bow marker to bow marker as they come down to the last 250 meters along the shoreline. Notre Dame with a very slight edge, followed by Purdue and then San Diego State. Outside it's UC Davis, USC, and UCLA. Notre Dame along the shoreline trying to fight off Purdue. In an earlier race, we saw the Boilermakers come on strong at the end, and that's exactly what they're doing now. It is Notre Dame along the shoreline. They have about a 2-seat lead over Purdue. Then there's a 6-seat back to San Diego State University, UC Davis, USC, and UCLA. Notre Dame along the shoreline in the Irish green as they move along and hold off Purdue. Purdue has lengthened their lead over San Diego State a little bit. On the shoreline, it is Notre Dame. Notre Dame on the shoreline continues to keep their nose in front, and unofficially they cross the finish line about 4 seats in front of Purdue, followed by about 8 seats in front of San Diego State University. Then to the far outside, it is UC Davis, and a tight one with SC just nosing ahead of UCLA for bragging rights for the final 2 positions in LA. But once again, the unofficial yet apparent winner of the men's collegiate varsity petite final, Notre Dame.